Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all in social psychology class. Today we are going to discuss the previous extension of our chapter pro-social behavior, and we actually started the conversation upon the topic pro-social behavior and its origin. And today we are going to extend this topic by discussing different context and different dimension of this topic. So in this lecture we will actually talk about the overview on pro-social behavior, and then we will move forward toward the historical evidences about the importance and existence of pro-social behavior, and then we will discuss the theoretical understanding of pro-social behavior, and at the end we will talk about the philanthropic point of view about the pro-social behavior. Let's have a look on the concept of pro-social behavior when we are going to discuss this concept in the context of social psychology. Pro-social behavior is actually indicating a specific terminology and as a specific phenomena, which is actually discussing the concept that how can you bring the oppressed community toward the mainstream. And whenever you are discussing this concept, then definitely you would be able to understand the reason behind the oppression of that particular community. As I had discussed many times, that society is composition of individuals, and there is a particular governing class and governing body which is regulating the code of conduct of that particular society. So, on the basis of this code of conduct and on the basis of class differences in the society, we can say that the people who are associated with a particular society may have different ideas about the society, and they may contradict with each other. And sometimes government is not playing proper role to implement the code of conduct, and they are somehow not following the equal based or equal provision of rights. So when we are discussing this concept, then definitely we would be able to understand that the class difference in the society is a continuous process, which is although prevailing step by step, but somehow people are also following this concept. And on these grounds, we can say that there is a concept of oppression among the people living in the society. So when among those community members who are not although oppressed, but they in previous or in the recent past faced this issue. So when they started to eliminate this situation from the society, then definitely they will adopt some methodology to get rid from these ideas and these issues. So when they are starting or they are initiating a program to eliminate such elements from the society, then definitely they will launch some services in this regard, so that they can bring the oppressed communities into the mainstream. And in a single statement, we can discuss this process under the umbrella of pro-social behavior. Pro-social behavior is actually a platform which is providing the opportunity to individuals who can actively play a role in the development of the state and in the betterment of the society. So we can say that pro-social behavior is not only a code of conduct, but it is also an idea which can lead toward the development, which can lead toward the socialization, which can lead towards the betterment. And people who are associated with this context, they are actually contributing in the financial condition of other community members, and they are actually also providing help in different dimensions. They may provide help in the educational activities, or in the political activities, or social activities, or any other activities which are associated with the benefits. So these behaviors include a broad range of activities through sharing, comforting, rescuing, and helping to other community members, so that they can actively play their part in the betterment of the society. Then coming toward the historical evidences about the pro-social behavior, actually there was a biologist named Edward O. Wilson, who began a new field, sociobiology, to study social behaviors of animals and humans as motivated by the organism's biology. Actually, he was conducting research in this regard, and he was actually drawing a picture and those traits which are similar to in both man and animal. And he was actually agreed upon a single agenda which shows that, which indicates that actually uh, there are some personality traits and some attributes among animals which can be similar in the with the human beings. And the first one is the concept of loyalty, and by this concept he also provide the example of different species. And Wilson used actually documented examples of helping with many animals and insect species. So when he started publishing his book and research paper, he also discussed the concept that when you are asserting or helping and even rescuing behaviors are innate in primates, helper bees, ants, wild dogs, and other species. And you can quote those examples when you are discussing the features of human being. So actually, pro-social behavior, through this study, you can say that pro-social behavior is somehow equal in both species, human species and animals. And they both encourage this concept so that they can stabilize their society, they can create harmony among the community members or the living people. When you are able to understand this concept, then definitely you are in the context of the development of the state, and you are actually working on the concept of fraternity among the community members. But if you are not admiring the fact of brotherhood or fraternity, and you are considering this as outdated, but you can say that it is actually creating the concept of unity, responsibility, socialization, equity. And these are the concepts which can formulate the society. And you can also eliminate any sort of superiority issues and consciousness in the context of either race, either caste, creed, or any other association. Then you are easily to able to eliminate such consciousness among the individuals, among the animals. Then another concept in the context of historical evidence about pro social behavior is that there are some people who are naturally uh, willing to help each other, and they actually by birth containing these elements and these attributes in their personality, and they are unable to leave such habits. So whether people are not actually cooperating with them, people are not actually encouraging them, but they will never leave, or they will never quit such activities. But the purpose of their activities is to communicate with other community members, to discuss their issues, to highlight their issues, so that other people, community members, may involve in the elimination of these issues. And they also try to convince other these community members who are actually the victim of these issues, that you are also the part of the society, and society as a whole is depending upon you, and you are an active agent of the society. When they are using these statements, then definitely they are actually adopting the concept of pro-social behavior through the natural instincts. And that is why they are actually trying to help them, they are trying to motivate them, they are trying to encourage them, so that they can, in long term or in future, they can play active role in the progress of the society. Then coming to the towards those findings which we can trace through the discussion about discussion on the historical narrative of pro-social behavior, we can say that pro-social behavior actually creates the sense of responsibility among the individuals. It can also encourage the sense of cooperation with fellow community members, and it can also deal with the concept that people who engage with each other in different regards, or and in the resolution of different issues, then definitely they are generating the concept of equality among each others, and they are not actually focusing upon any sort of superiority complexes and superiority issues. And then through a historical narrative, we can also discuss the concept of socialization, because when you will interact with other community member for the sake of whether you are helping with them, or you are contributing in their moral or social development, then definitely you are socializing with them. Then such narrative can also boost the oppressed community to take part in the activities of the society, because they are not considering themselves as an active agent, or considering themselves as an important element of the society. That is why they used to avoid any sort of participation in the usual activities, or the laws or activities organized for the sake of betterment. So when the people who are associated with the concept of pro-social behavior, then definitely they will try to encourage such community members, so that in the long term they can eliminate, or they can get rid from the title of oppression. Then coming toward the theoretical narrative about the pro-social behavior, actually this element had been discussed in the different research and in different writings of the Aristotle, who actually said that pro-social behavior can be defined by discussing the reason for the existence, and whenever people will start understanding the concept of existence, they will definitely would try to contribute in their own existence. Why? Because they are saying that they will definitely believe that we are actually admiring those policies which are related to the human friendly, or because of a certain disposition under a certain set of conditions, are inclined to assist others to enact pro-social behavior. So that is why we must focus upon the concept of pro-social behavior. Why? Because pro-social behavior is a platform where we can continue our existence, and we can also contribute in the nourishment of our capabilities. And that concept is actually a better platform which can create the harmony among the individuals. And another theoretical narrative which had been discussed in the previous writing, since the psychology of pro-social behavior sheds light what those circumstances are, and how our inclination playing, and it arguably explain why philanthropy exists. Actually, that statement is indicating that, and clearly explaining the concept about the highlighting the reasons behind the people, or behind the attitude of those people who are actually user friendly, and who are also following in the concept of cooperation strictly. So psychologists and psychology, through the channel of pro-social behavior, can highlight this thing. Why? Because those who are naturally following this concept, they definitely help with each other by avoiding any sort of reciprocal attitude, or any sort of reward, or any sort of other benefits. So when people are adopting this concept, then definitely they are eliminating rigidity among their from their personality traits, and they are also focusing upon the concept of flexibility, so that they can convince community members to contribute in the development of the society, and they are also adopt those policies which are user friendly. Then coming toward the practical implication of the concept pro-social behavior, there are different researches, and there are different practices which can clearly show that how people will adopt the following methodology to contribute in the context of pro-social behavior. Actually, people are associated with different characteristics and different mindsets, and somehow they used to help others for the sake of their own benefits, but somehow they try to contribute for the sake of the others' personality grooming. So when we are discussing this concept, the practical implication of pro-social behavior, we must remember that sometimes people are unable to make decisions. And why? Because there is another concept involved in this context. When people are accepting the influences, then definitely there are chances that they won't be associated, they won't associate themselves with the concept of pro-social behavior. Why? Because the person to whom they are idealizing maybe not following such policy, or maybe he is not good with such policies. So that is why the person who is following his footsteps, he must avoid such policies, and he may and there are chances that he is unable to make decision in this regard. Then coming toward another important context in this regard, and that is that when you are discussing the concept of practical implication in pro-social behavior, then definitely you are working for the community members to draw a consensus on a specific agenda. And when you are convincing them for the specific agenda, then definitely you got a plan, you got some policies, strategies, and you are in the arguing mode, and you are convincing them for the greater cause. And that greater cause is in the long term is actually encouraging, or actually the guarantee about the existence of mankind. Then coming toward the implication of pro-social behavior, which is also indicating the concept of egoism, and we can discuss this concept in two different dimensions. The first one is positive concept regarding the egoism. And when we are accepting the positive regard and positive concept, then definitely we are saying that egoism is the philosophy concerned with the role of the self or ego as the motivation and goal of one's own action. Different theories on egoism encompasses a range of desperate ideas and can generally be categorized into descriptive or normative forms. So when you are discussing the concept of positive approach towards the egoism, is your firm belief, and you are firmly holding an idea, and people who are associated with you, they are also understanding that you are following some ideas, and you are also adopting some parameters in this regard. And whenever any policy is concerned with your personality, then definitely they will admire a fact that that person will not compromise on the principles. And in this regard, we can discuss two different examples. The first one is religious basis, and the second one is on the society base. The first one, in the first example, we can say that when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, was staying in Makkah, and he was actually known for his good personality trait, because he never participated in any negative activity. And people were also giving witness on the account of his honesty and his truthfulness. And people were considering him trustworthy and his truthfulness. So that is why they are admiring his existence, and they were admiring his personality traits on the basis of moral grounds. So when Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, climbed up on the mountain Safa, and he used to say that, "O people of Quraysh, come and listen to me." And when they gathered at that place, Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, actually said that, if I say there is a crowd coming from this mountain, and they will attack on you, and there is a military or equipped base army which is going to attack on you, then would you believe on my words? The people said, yes, we will believe that. Why? Because you never lie in front of us, or you never lie in with other community members. But when Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, admire this fact that there is no God but Allah, then they used to walk, and they avoid to accept this thing. But here we can say that why the people were going to admire Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, because they were agreed upon a point that Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, never lied in front of community members. On the other hand, there is another point of view we can discuss in the context of society. When we are saying that when we are saying that egoism is the form of firmly believe in the rules and regulation or implementation of norms and values, then we can say that Nelson Mandela in this regard cannot be neglected. Why? Because he was the person who convinced his community members when he ended up with his 26-year struggle. He actually used to convince his community members who were definitely black to eliminate the concept of racial superiority from you, and people used to follow him. Why? Because people understand this concept that he is the person who firmly believe in the concept of egoism, and he is also the man of words and principles, and we must follow his actions and deeds. So in this context we can say that the concept of egoism is also providing a platform in the growing of the concept pro-social behavior. Then coming towards another important context in the concept of pro-social behavior is giving. Whenever you are discussing the concept of giving, you are not actually talking about the providing something to other person, but it is regarding the concept of providing the opportunity to other community members so that they can unite themselves, they can gather their things, and they can get benefits from a specific opportunity. And these opportunities can be related with the jobs and employment, or earning, or anything else. And these opportunities can also be discussed in the light of a learning process or any other learning process and processes and intellect level. So providing opportunity is also you are in the giving mode and you want to provide opportunity to other person. And another example can be quoted here is the concept of mawaqat in Islam, which is the best example of giving, when people who actually migrated from Mecca to Medina and the people who are living in Medina, they actually leave each and everything for the sake of their other Muslim brothers. So this is the concept which is actually providing an opportunity to the concept of pro-social behaviors nourishment. Then idea of providing shelter to other is also a best part in the context of giving, when you are providing the opportunity to other community member that he can use your house, he can use your living place for the sake of his own, but you are not actually demanding anything from that particular person. And although this giving process is temporary, but you are providing the vacuum for that particular person, that so that he can in future try to nourish the other people's capabilities. And another important fact in this regard is the association of community members with the concept of giving, so that they can provide the suitable platform for the nourishment of their associations. And people who are associated with these concepts, and they definitely try to build a chain so that this pro-social behavior process can continue in future, and people may get help from this concept, and they also contribute in the society in the different contexts. Then coming towards another important fact in this regard is the helping concept. In when you are providing the opportunity to any other individual, can be discussed under the context of giving. But on the other hand, when you are the part of any class, community, or society, or you are the part of any group, then you are trying to direct some individuals for the sake of betterment, and there are community members who need counseling in this regard, and they are unable to achieve, or they are unable to actually establish a destination for their future goals. So when you are providing them opportunity, and when you are directing them towards a straight path, then definitely you are the responsible for the for their betterment. And in the reply of this behavior, you are not expecting anything for you and for your personality. But let me clarify one thing in this regard, that when you are directing them towards a better part or better way of life, then definitely you are also contributing in the context of their organization. Because people who are living in the society, they are living in a different mode, and they are somehow in scattered form, and but they are not drawing any consensus on a single agenda. But you are convincing them, and you are providing them opportunity to nourish their mind by using the platform of other. Why? Because you are also helping them to set a goal, to spend a life which is based upon objectivity. So when you are admiring this, when you are generating such ideas among the community members, then definitely you are also on the mode of pro-social behavior. Then coming towards another type or another point of view in the context of implementation of pro-social behavior, and that is incentive. When you are involved in pro-social behavior, then incentive must be utilized for again in the pro-social behavior, or to increase the chain of pro-social behavior, so that people in majority can be facilitated. The when you are showing them the incentive, then definitely people will involve with such things. When you are discussing any scheme which is in long term, is for the benefit of the community members, you are introducing a concept of launching any app or any lucky dot based facility or activity, which at the end may be the may improve the financial condition of the community members. But when people used to attach themselves with such activity, then the amount which you are getting from it, then if you will again utilize that particular amount in the more facilitation of the other community members, then definitely you are the part of pro-social behavior, and you are trying to contribute in the positive manner. So this is the element which can lead towards the implementation of true spirit of pro-social behavior. Then coming towards another context in this regard, which is the implementation of pro-social behavior, is the concept of sharing. uh, Sharing is only for the importance of other community members. When you are discussing this concept, that then definitely you are trying to create the sense of cooperation among the community members. You are also trying to convince them for the sake of cooperation. There are chances that when you are part of a society or a class, then definitely you are focusing upon those people who are you idealizing, to whom you are idealizing. And when you are idealizing some community members, then definitely you will follow their footsteps. And if you are observing that that particular person is rigid, and he is not providing help to other community members, then definitely you are not the you will not adopt such any policy which is regarding helping other community members. So whenever you are the part of pro-social behavior, you must adopt the concept of cooperation. Why? Because the sense of cooperation is actually playing an important role in the nourishment of mental capabilities of individual. Because through the concept of sharing, you are also trying to create a harmony among the community members. Because in a class or in a place where you are living or studying, there are people who are unable to express their issues in front of any other community members. There are some people who are unable to understand the other community member, who are unable to participate in different activities. So when you are trying to generate this concept, when you are trying to contribute in this regard, then definitely you are creating the sense of cooperation, so that they can feel comfortable while talking to you, when they feel comfortable while discussing the issues in front of you. But there is another important fact in this regard, is that You must avoid to make fun of them. You must avoid to provide them a comfortable zone, so that they can, through mutual understanding, present themselves in a better way, and they can also draw a better picture of them. And through this concept, or through using the concept of socialize, concept of sharing, they may be able to understand the other community members, and in the future, when they feel that they are in any they are involved in any difficulty, and they are facing any issue, then definitely they will ask other community members, so that they can cooperate with them. But in this context, we are not actually implementing the true spirit of pro-social behavior, because pro-social behavior is not focusing upon this concept, that when you are sense of cooperation, you must focus upon that on in the future, that particular person will also work for you, or will provide you help. So cooperation in versus sharing is not equal to the any concept of regard or reward, or any output. So when you are admiring this fact, you must focus upon that the sharing is only for caring, because you are giving the opportunity, you are actually giving the importance to other community members, so that they can also work for the betterment of the society. So in this lecture, we actually discussed so far the concept of pro-social behavior, and the extension of pro-social behavior in the concept of implementing this idea in practice. So when you are practicing this fact, when you are admiring the fact, when you are actually putting this idea or ideology into practice, then definitely you are focusing upon and the concept that the people who are associated with the pro-social behavior, they can contribute in the progress and development of the society in a better way. So pro-social behavior in the long term is actually a term, is actually an idea which can provide information to the individual regarding any issue of the society, and it is also providing a platform to the community members, so that they can create or generate the sense of responsibility among the other community members. Because if we discuss another dilemma of the society, that people are actually not focusing upon the issues of others, they are actually living the self-centered life. So when you are admiring this fact, that people are living according to their vested ideas or their vested interests, then definitely they will not focus upon the others life. And if we discuss this concept in the context of metropolitan cities, then definitely we would be able to understand that people who are actually associated with this phenomena, and people who are actually admiring this fact, that they are actually living in the metropolitan cities, but and where they are enjoying all the facilities of life, but on the other hand, they are unable to understand the concept of fraternity, or a concept of cooperation with each other, because sense of cooperation is only platform which can gather them, or which can convince them on a single agenda. So pro social behavior in this regard is actually an ideology, or an hypothesis which is leading towards the development. And whenever people are following this concept, they are in the mode of helping each other. So helping each other without any consent, and without any objectivity, only for the sake of betterment, or only for the sake of welfare concept of state, is a blessing. But if you are using this for the sake of your own benefits, then you are in the negative mode. And when you are getting the money, or when you are getting the a reward from the on the account of pro social behavior, and then you are again utilizing this thing for the sake of betterment of other community members, then definitely you are actually you are actually generating a chain concept, so that people can get information through this, people can get fruits from this tree, and in the long term, they also play an important role in the welfare of the state. So if you feel any confusion and difficulty in this to understand this topic, you may ask through WhatsApp or Google Classroom. So till next lecture, take good care of yourself. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz and Assalamu alaikum.